Megan Thee Stallion versus all of the Trick Daddy built puss face having, Trick Daddy breath, trout mouth, geezer nipple, hairy taco meat, ball having, wild banshee beaver lipped female beetles. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that's what we've been battling, and these kind of topics really just make me sick to my stomach. Women are, no matter whether they're sexually free or not, are just totally nothing compared to some ashy man. So I really want to lay this video out. I even took my notes, okay, because in order for me to drive this point home, I'm going to give you a couple of things. I'm going to give you a little bit of history. I'm going to give you what's happening. I'm gonna help y'all understand the psychology behind it all. Now, I can't promise I'm gonna be couth. I'm gonna be doing a lot of cussing, and that's why I'm trying to wait till the video get to a certain length so I can say what I want to say. But let's go ahead and dive right into it. So, as you know, Megan Thee Stallion has broken up with Klay Thompson. She said that he cheated, said he didn't know if he wanted to be monogamous, and she's clearly hurt. So you have one side, you have like three parts of the internet. The women riding for Megan. Then you have the men who think she deserves it, thinks telling, saying stupid shit like, he didn't really like her, even though she was around his family. I mean, don't they say take you home to meet mama? But she was all up in the family, which is why she said I was playing house. Men just coming up with all of these reasons to celebrate and be happy that Megan Thee Stallion is somewhere hurting and they just don't really care. Okay. So this is nothing new in history. We're going to have to just kind of give a little bit of context. Then we're going to bring this home. So I feel like there are many reasons why listening to the patriarchal opinion of view of things is always going to be a mistake because they are confused, disturbed, dumb, little female platypuses. See, I want to say female dogs. I want to say that word, but I'm trying to be cool for monetization. So let's go ahead and get it down. So let's go before I just go off and get to cussing some more, let's give a little historical context. Around the Victorian age, um, women who liked sex or were vocal about sex or anything like that were considered possessed. That's what the religious part, possessed, mentally ill, mentally unstable. Something's wrong with you. So men categorically did not want to choose those women to be wives because something was wrong with them. You don't want to choose the mentally unstable person. You want to choose, the stable one. If you're modest, meek, act like you don't like sex, all that. What that's the genesis of the whole wifey material thing. It was really like a whole thing. They called it hysteria. So then the doctors, they would go to the doctor, they would give them orgasm, and then they would relax. You know what I'm saying? And it was just really kind of crazy. So, and so you have that thing. That was Victorian age. That's what the idea was. And so it's really disturbing because they would choose a woman who didn't really like sex or wasn't vocal or would display very little interest in it. And that's who they would choose to be their wives, and which they wanted to have sex with a lot. Very rapey. I would say that's very rapey. Don't you think? That's like very disturbing. Yeah. But let's go back a little bit before that. It was a time in history where being a sex worker was considered to be a respectable profession, right? Woman exchanging sexual attention or services for money was a very beneficial part of society. It was a need, it was a service, it was no big deal. Go back even further, you have the ancient Egyptians and stuff like that. And it wasn't even a word for virginity because it didn't mean anything. Sex was natural, normal. Women were very sexual with men and women. They were still looked at as, as we know, pharaohs and stuff like that. So we see an introduction of the of the church, and which is ruins everything, as y'all know how I feel about religion. And we see also the introduction of the industrial age, which is where monogamy came in. So around the time when men started getting into agriculture and money, they say we need to be ensure paternity, which means we need to be sure that women only need to have one man so that we can know who our money's going to as far as a child, right? So we start to see a little bit of history. So this idea that women who are openly or vocal about sex, demonic, undesirable, mentally unstable, not wifey material, meant to be discarded, never chosen. We'll see a little bit about where that history kind of came into it. If you want more information, you really need to read Sex at Dawn. Okay, go get that book because I'm not going to give you the whole blow by blow here. So we're starting to see where the disdain for women who display their sexuality. No, we're not talking about owning it. Who even say like it. then they don't want to choose that woman. You're right. Um, I have my theory on why men decided to act like that, even before religion came along. Because then I was like, okay, so we understand what happened, but give me more about the background. So I feel like women, it's not I feel like women are born with a clitoris. Its only function is to orgasm. It's the only organ in the whole body, male or female, that's only job is to orgasm. Follow me with this. We're going to tie this into making a second. Just follow me. I had to lay out the history. The history. So it's only, and so men can't do that. They don't have any organ that's only there for orgasm. So this idea that we are not sexual beings can't be based on biology. So who made it up? They wanted to suppress that. They wanted to suppress that pleasure because I feel like men knew that they couldn't really keep up with that. They really were going to show their inadequacies because of the fact that we can orgasm back to back. So they needed to shut that down. Also, orgasm power is God energy. Number one, it's already a deep envy and a mystery on why, since we're the weaker sex, that we are allowed to, we're chosen by the powers to be, that the God or whatever you want to call it, by nature to be able to give birth. That's a miraculous feat that men were not prepared. They're not worthy of that type of power, so they didn't get it. So, and also when you tap into your sexual energy, you are very close to God. God energy, orgasmic energy is the same. They needed to suppress that because a woman, that's just too much power. It's just like racism. Just like when they going and blowing up neighborhoods and shit. I think it's the Tuskegee thing. Whenever we had the businesses and we was getting too much power, they came and tore it up. Same thing when a white man came over there and saw how we were thriving and too much power could take over. They went over there and fucked up shit in Africa. It's no different. Misogyny and racism is the same thing. Again, I'm going to get to Megan. Y'all just have to stay with me because this is a deeper dive. I need to paint the picture. So, women had too much power. Men know that they are actually inferior, especially sexually. You cannot, you need to, you don't have an or sex organ that's there for pleasure only. So this whole idea that women shouldn't express or be intersex or like sex or want to have it a lot or have a bunch of sexual desires and not sexual beings is debunked by the very fact that we have a clitoris. And when I first found out, I forget when I found out, I was like, damn, that's true. It doesn't do anything else. All of the other, like our birth canal, is there to clean itself out, and also it feels good. Men have the prostate gland, which has orgasm that also does what the prostate does, but the clit is a very special thing, and you can wear that shit out over, and trust me, I know, wear it out over and over and over again. Men can't actually handle that. So if you have a woman fully in her sexual prime, let's just negate the spiritual stuff for a second. If we just keep it straight up carnal, straight up physical, straight up sexual, a woman who is truly in tune and without any of the social norms that have kept us suppressing our sexuality, men would know that we would need several men to actually keep up with that. And they can't handle that. They want to be able to have control. That's why they flipped everything. They have flipped everything over to make you feel like your sexuality is bad and wrong. You're not really that sexual. And women have drank the Kool-Aid. Women have drank Kool-Aid. Just like, black folks drank Kool-Aid thinking they weren't smarter than white men until they got out of that. Religion, it's a lot that goes into it. So this is my whole piece. So I think that alone caused the deep resentment of women. Just like white people really resent black folks because we are look better, dance better, do everything better than them. And when we are put neck and neck, we exceed them. But if it was intellect, sports, singing, everything, it's the same with women. Win at everything. So I think I've painted a pretty solid picture, giving you some historical context and my view of why we have this hatred towards women. You hate what you envy, and you hate what you can't control. Now, let's transition this into what we see today with things like Megan Thee Stallion. So, because of everything that I just said, men want us to believe, and they also believe, that certain women are just not worthy of love. It goes back to the ridiculous notion that we are possessed if we like sex. It's abnormal. It's disgusting. It's unlovable. Ladies, don't act like that. So when you have a woman like Megan Thee Stallion who says, my life is not centered around y'all. And another thing, they want the male centeredness. If we can center our sexuality, which is core to who we are as sexual beings, as humans, they needed to monopolize that. They needed to control that so they can control us, so they can keep their egos intact, because men categorically don't want to do any of the work in order to evolve emotionally, which is why they always commit suicide. All right. So, all right, stay with me. So women are powerful. Men don't like a sexually free woman. Now let's transition to what a sexually free woman is and what the real definition of sexual freedom is and how it ties into Megan and how it ties into the history and why men can't stand a sexually free woman. Sexually free woman is very, very easy to understand. It is simply a woman who does not consider men and how she expresses her sexuality. She owns it. Her sexuality is hers. Her body is hers. Her vagina is hers. They don't, we've already established why men don't like that. They want to be able to control directly or indirectly what we do with our vaginas because it directly affects how they feel about their manhood. And their manhood is so fragile and built on sand that they're going to need to externally find a way to get it together. They don't want to do any of the work on themselves. They just want to control us. So a sexually free woman, and I am a sexually free woman. I was not always sexually free. But let me tell you what a sexually free woman, what that looks like. So they have sex when, with who, and how often they want without any consideration for what makes men comfortable. So that means saying yes to have a man they want to say yes to, depending on what their particular criteria is at the moment. You a woman, you a man. I'm gonna talk to women real quick. You a woman. You know, sometimes you just want the dick. Like you don't care about no relationship. You just kind of wanna fuck. Other times you ain't want to fuck with him if he ain't hitting you, if he ain't giving you what you want emotionally. Other times if he ain't giving you the money, the criteria changes based on our mood. But whatever our mood is at the time, we own that and we act accordingly. So that means we have sex with however men we want to according to what feels good to us at the time. So that means if we meet 3 niggas in 1 week that make us feel whatever we're looking for, the checks out, whatever boxes we have at the time, we have sex with them with no remorse. That's what that looks like. If we meet 3 men in a day, we do it. If we meet 3 men in a month, 7, 10 in a month, whatever your number is, it doesn't matter. If it feels good to me, if I've checked internally, checked intuition, checked my vibration, checked the connection, checked my boxes, okay, cool, you can get some pussy. That, and again, that shifts depending on what's going on. It's not a cookie cutter thing. It ebbs and flows, but every time I choose, it's up to me. It's not because you bought me dinner and now you think you should get it. It's not because you were nice to me, you think I should get it. It's not because you're shaming me into doing it because of that. It's not because, oh, I think he may leave me if I don't have sex with him. It's not, oh, I want him to be my boyfriend, so I'm gonna have sex with him. It's not any of those outer directed patriarchal reasons because they want you to have sex on their terms. I took you out, you should fuck. I took you out 15 times, you should fuck. I was nice to you, you should fuck. I look good. I got money, you should fuck. They want it to be up to them and what's convenient for them, with no regard to what you actually want. Men have an innate fear of giving a woman the choice to authentically choose, because that means a lot of them ain't gonna be chose. Which leads me to the second part. Being sexually free also means not having sex. Full transparency, I haven't had sex in over a year. As of right now, it is May 2nd. I haven't had sex since March 10th in Louisiana with the dude I was fucking with in Louisiana. Why? Several reasons. But the main thing is my boxes that I need to be checked ain't been checked, so I ain't fucking. Guess who don't like that? Men. They don't like that. They say they want that, but they do not. They say they want a woman who's not having sex a lot or want a low body count, whatever. But having a low body count and going through a time of not having sex requires telling them no. And they don't like that either. And then if you tell them no and then you told the other one yes, you didn't check the boxes, so I told you no, but he checked the boxes, so I told him yes, they don't like that either. So the most hated woman is the sexually free one. Because let me just go and just let me cook real quick, motherfucker. People assume that a woman having a lot of sex indicates some type of trauma. You know, her daddy was R. Kelly. Something's wrong with her. But we don't talk about the trauma associated with not having sex. If I'm not having sex due to sexual shame, sexual fear, worry, of judgment, maybe I did have R. Kelly, so I'm not having sex. All of that both actions can be trauma based. I absolutely understand that if we are using sex, for the wrong way and we just out here just being willy nilly. When I say willy nilly, I mean like we're just lost and trying to, buy affection with sex and blah, 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 blah. We're trying to do all of that. We could definitely have sex for the wrong reasons. I'm not acting like, I've done it. I talk about that in my book. In my book, All Three of Me, the link is in the bio. I talk about a time where I was just sitting there having sex and didn't even know why I was having sex. And I thought it was my choice. I manipulated myself into thinking it was my choice. Really, it was a choice of the patriarchy. Same thing of not having sex. I would have to do so. I really want to fuck, but I say no because I never really counted bodies, but I'm just giving an example. I really want to have sex, but body count. I need to keep body count lower. I really want to have sex, but he may think something wrong with me, or he may not think I'm wife material. That's still trauma based. I don't care what y'all say. So you can't judge the level of trauma based on an action alone. In this case, the woman who's a virgin till 40, that's some sign of some trauma. I don't care what you say. That's some trauma up in there. Because religious guilt. Trauma, religious trauma. I don't want to have sex because God said no, and I shouldn't, and sex is bad, and I don't want to masturbate because of trauma. I'm covering myself up because God's trauma, right? So I'm painting the picture because I want you to know that when men can't stand a sexually free woman. What they want is the woman that has sex on their terms, in which makes their ego feel comfortable. That's what they like. And when you behave in a way to make men comfortable, it never reaps the reward that you want. You're still gonna get cheated on, still gonna get left, still gonna get disrespected. They're still not gonna like you. It's all of the answers to the multiple choice are wrong. The only way sex is a good idea is when it's 100% your choice, and men don't like it. Oh, are we starting to see why men categorically can't stand women like me or women like Megan Thee Stallion? She said in many interviews, men are my toys. Like, no, like you're not just gonna come and like, no, you don't run me. Like, no, I fuck with you when and how I want to fuck with you. If I want to love you, I will. If I want to fuck you, I will. And I don't have to, and I also don't have to love you to fuck you. This whole idea that women are demisexuals is another lie. Men, again, remember back when I talked about the criteria? My criteria is not always love. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. But it is not some demisexual gene that all women have. Plenty of women can fuck you, even raw, for months and years, and not ever want to be in a relationship with you, and not ever even consider being in a relationship with you. You have your place. Is to give me dick. The man I want to love and I want, that ain't you. But right now, I appreciate you. I'm not trying to just say you ain't shit, but you are not who I'm choosing for that. You see the key word I'm choosing? They don't like the choice. Women choose everything. Women choose and control sex. So that means we control everything. I don't care what y'all say. Well, we control marriage. Well, I'm not marrying you unless I fuck you. It's still my choice. So I'm trying to paint the picture of why they hate Megan and women like Megan. It comes down to Megan does not appear or present herself as someone easy to control, and they don't like that. So if you are not going to be easy to control, if you're not going to fall into my program, if you're going to have the audacity to own your sexuality, I am going to punish you, either directly or indirectly. I'm going to hurt you, grape you, abuse you, and get you in line. You know what that sounds like? Racism. Ain't that what they did to the niggas that got out of line? Cut your foot off, beat your ass, humiliate you, emasculate you. If you're getting too far out of line, I gotta get you in place by any means necessary. Luckily for us, it's no longer legal to beat your wife as of 1994. So they can't beat us. So now they have to, categorically humiliate us as much as they can. Megan is being made an example out of. They want to. It's not just about Megan. They want to send a message to all women. Don't own your sexuality. Don't be vocal about your sexuality. Be coy, meek, somebody easy to not control, or else. But that's not even the truth. And I'm gonna bounce around a bit, but that's not even true because I was reading the biography of Aaliyah. I don't think we realized, and maybe we don't because we didn't have social media back then. But Aaliyah lost sponsorships. She lost all kind of business opportunities. She was punished for being molested by R. Kelly. She was made an example of because she gave a false ID. It was her fault, and she was a baby. So it doesn't really matter whether you're like Megan Thee Stallion or not. Men still don't like your ass, generally speaking, because they're envious and jealous and weak. But let's go back to Megan. So Megan has confidence. They don't want too much confidence because they can't control that. They want you a little bit more humble. They want you taking up less space. They can't stand what they can't control. It is a sickness. And just in case there are men watching this who want to go against what I'm saying, that's exactly how the white people feel about you. That's why they call you uppity niggas. A uppity nigger is the same thing as a black person who ain't acting like he know his place. What do you mean? No. I remember, just to paint the picture, I remember a good friend of mine, King Noir, he said he was on a porn set and he didn't want to have sex with the girl after the shoot. She said she wanted to continue to have sex. He was like, I'm good. And she overheard him or saw a text message where he said, he's acting like an uppity nigga. AKA, you are not behaving the way you need to behave. Bitch, you are a nigga. You ain't shit. You do what I say. And if you ain't gonna act like that, I'm gonna fucking insult you. And he ended up pulling his scene and not letting the scene go out the air. That's the same parallel as this. She's saying, no, you don't tell me when to fuck. You don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do. I show my body the way I want to show my body, and you can't control it. Uppity bitch. That same energy, that same hatred, that same venom, it's the same thing. The white bitch is just, how dare you should be honored that I want to fuck you. And you acting like an uppity nigga. I'm white. You're black. You need to be honored that I even want to fuck you again. You gonna say no? Audacity. Same thing. We are supposed to be praising and fawning and doing everything we can to please you and being meek and seen and not heard and not fucking and doing all that. We're supposed to be a part of the patriarchal program. When women deviate, uppity bitch, you got the audacity. You need to be honored that you need to be trying to please me. You need to be trying to make sure I'm happy and pleased and comfortable and my ego is not threatened. How dare you go against what makes my ego feel good? Therein lies the underlying hatred that men have for Megan Thee Stallion. Let's go deeper. I saw this video of us saying you really can't listen to any dumb fool that would insult Megan because they're confused, dumb little boys. You say you want the meek Jehovah's Witness, a Coretta Scott King type, only to cheat on her with the Megan Thee Stallion type because you're confused and stupid. You risk it all for the Megan Thee Stallion. This is how men operate. I want the wholesome Jehovah's Witness, virgin one, I want to get her because I can control her. So let me wife you. Being wifey material means I can control you. That is quite literally what it means. It doesn't really have anything to do with character, cooking, cleaning. I can control you. That's all they really care about. This is why it's not a flex to be called wifey material 90% of the time. So, you go over here, let me get Katherine Jackson, the Jehovah's Witness, keep her at home. She don't own her sexuality, so she's suppressed. So she can trick herself into thinking that she don't need nothing outside of me. Because she's felt for okie doke. So I want the okie doke bitch at home. Only for me to risk all of that for the one I say I can't stand, that I'm repulsed by, the wicked one, the demonic one, the evil one, the Jezebel, the hoe, the slut, the prostitute, the crack hoe, whatever. So the one that you don't value is what you risk it all for. And I don't really care what y'all say. In the moment that man decides to go over there and cheat with the Megan Thee Stallion type that he hates, that is more important than who would he got at home. Whatever you're risking it, if you're risking it all with or for something, that is inherently more valuable to you, especially in that moment. It's more valuable because when it's not valuable to you, you don't do it. You don't. It's like I have this big business, and doing a business deal with this one over here is not worth it for me because if I even go over there and mess with that business deal, it'll make all of my other business come down. I value this too much to even risk it. But what happens if you have your big business and you go over here and you find a business that is worth it? I will take this chance and it's worth the possibility of risking this. So in that scenario, that's more valuable. So men are confused. You cannot trust the red pill, stupid, free Tory ass, free Diddy ass bitches. And let me just digress for a second. The men who hate Megan are the same ones hollering free R. Kelly, our Leah was wrong. It's the same people. Same people. So you're confused and you're misdirected and you're misinformed. You risk everything, your entire family, your career, everything for this woman that has the characteristics of something that you hate. It is very rare for you to be married to some Jehovah's Witness and go out and shoot with another Jehovah's Witness. Usually it's the polar opposite. You go out and get you a freak that's going to be sucking and fucking. You're going to get you something that you say you don't want. You're confused. You actually love those women. You love them. You wish you could have them, but you can't figure out how to tame them and keep your little fragile ass ego intact. So you think you're insulting us by saying you're not going to wife us as if being your wife is some kind of envious position. It's not. Look around. Wives are miserable and divorcing y'all asses by the dozens. Y'all try to lord a marriage over husband. Yeah, okay, sure. But the ones that marry you leave you. So now what? We can't get a husband, but you can't keep a wife. Let's get into that. Can't keep a fucking wife. So it's like they have these, your desire is you want her. Your conditioning is you shouldn't want her. and your ego says I can't control her. So you're confused and fucked up all in the head. The evolved men like my men here, they understand that a woman can be wonderful, beautiful, highly sexual, highly experienced, and a good woman, and that's exactly what Megan was. So to get even more dark, there were a certain set of serial killers who only targeted sex workers. Sex workers are women or women who embrace their sex or looks at it as less than in society, all due to religion and patriarchy. And we need to suppress that because once a woman is sexually liberated, you can't you can't that breaks down the whole system. That means no, it's not gonna be no polygyny where you have a bunch of bitches and I'm getting other niggas too. No, we not just doing threesomes with a bunch of bitches. We're gonna get some niggas too. No, I'm not gonna sit here while you busy all day and I got my needs met. I'm gonna either cheat on you or we're gonna have another boyfriend. Yeah, it's like it breaks their whole shit up and they can't handle the threat. The movement against Megan is no different than the movement against black people. The white people want to remain the majority so they can maintain power. Black men want to remain in power. They want to they want to keep the monopoly over sexuality and freedom because they don't have anything else. They need someone to oppress because in the world, black men have the least power out of all the other races. So who are you going to exert your dominion over? Women. And women, we got to wake the fuck up. Do not give a fuck about nothing that is going on. Own your shit. You got to get my book and read it. Link in bio. So I feel like I laid this out. I gave you some history, some context. And, I love the uprising of women's sexuality. You cannot give a fuck about what men want or need. You can't. And we can't, you have got to, before I got smarter and understood misogyny, I was having a lot more sex. But the more intelligent and educated I become, the less and less I'm having sex. Because if I'm just being honest, when it comes down to finding a man that is a feminist, a man who embraces sexual and work and equality and had that shit in there. Equality. We're not the same, but we are equal on a human level. Finding men like that is the true minority, which is why it's very easy for someone like me who loves sex to go without it for a year and a half. Because until you can check my intellectual boxes and I know you ain't got no misogyny in you, you will not get my pussy. This is not about, and if I find 7 of them in 1 week, I'll fuck them off. So I'm not trying to say I'm better because I haven't had no dick. It's actually quite sad. But there's more to my story on why I haven't been having sex. Last year I wasn't focused on that. I was healing some shit. But, whatever. They were cleansing and detoxing, and I'm still kind of detoxing. But that's neither here nor there. So I just want to say, if the men, let me see if I get everything. The only real leverage men have is leverage over women's sexuality. That's a big leverage they have. If you express too much, you a hoe. Too much experience, you a hoe. What you mean you want a dick bigger than mine? You a hoe, you lose. It's so much leverage they have in keeping a woman down sexually. Just like there's so much leverage white men have when they hold a black man down. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'll leave y'all with. Do not fuck. If you want to know who's worthy of your pussy, ask them how they feel about the Megan Thee Stallion situation. If they are not putting any of the blame or any of the accountability on Clay, and they have anything derogatory to say about Megan Thee Stallion and her reputation, there's nothing that's crazy about that. Her reputation is being single and acting single. Cardi B and these women who are hoes and all that, they don't have any history. I'm gonna level with the monogamous people. They don't have any history of actually cheating. We haven't seen it. Y'all talk about how that's how men are so fucking illogical and stupid, and they so weak. No, God, we're talking about how she acted in her relationship with Clay. She was worthy enough to be around his family, worthy enough for him to move in and buy a house with, worthy enough for all of that, worthy enough because she is worthy. What she did before she met you with people in her peer group, she's a fucking celebrity. It's just like she's a model. She was fucking other models. Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you're in that industry. Y'all don't want women to have sex at any time. She can't have sex when she's single. She can't have consensual sex when she's in a relationship. So she ain't supposed to cheat, but you are. She's not supposed to have sex when she's separated, when she's divorced. You can't wait. You don't want to have sex too soon after the divorce because that means you're a hoe. You can't do that. When she's widowed, she needs to wait 80 years to have sex. Y'all don't want women to have sex ever, but you want women to have sex all the time. And that's how confused and dumb y'all are. If there is a man in your world who believes that Diddy needs to be free, that Tory needs to be free, that R. Kelly needs to be free, that Megan Thee Stallion deserves pain because she's not human. They feel like a woman having sex makes her inhumane when women are more of a sexual being than men are. That's the fucked up part. We're more sexual than you. You don't have a clitoris. By definition, we're built to have sustained back-to-back pleasure, and you are not. We're more sexual. That's why women report not getting orgasms in their marriages. Cause y'all, everything about y'all is just not even built for sustained pleasure. Your dick got to get up. It's only so much that muscle can get back up. You ejaculate, you need to go to sleep for 2 hours. You don't have the stamina because you don't think sex is really for women. You don't really want to learn to be better at it. You don't want to take no pussy eating lessons, and y'all, Lord knows y'all need them. You don't want to take no stroke lessons. Lord knows y'all need them, because y'all still think that sex is for y'all. And women like Megan say, no, bitch, you gonna please me too. They don't like that either. Just take what I give you, bitch. That's how y'all feel. And women ain't standing for it no more. We're not. For the first time in history, we're making more money than y'all, more educated than y'all, and you're seeing the true nature of women. Let me leave you with this. You do not know the nature of any group of people or person until they are free. And since the only thing y'all understand is y'all's plight, let me help you out. Whenever you were enslaved by white men, for a long time, they really did believe. Everybody really did believe and thought they knew the nature of black people. They're not smart. They're not educated. They don't read. They're criminals. They none of that. They're not smart. They can't run no business. You don't have the intelligence to do it until we got free. Then black people got free and started opening businesses, outperforming them. Then they had to tear the whole shit down. You see how for years white people were wrong about a whole group of enslaved people? And that's a narrative they taught you because they went over to Africa and saw you excelling and wealthy and all that and wanted to fuck it all up. So they knew you were more powerful than them. They knew that, but they needed to convince you otherwise. It's the same exact thing with men and women. You don't know the nature of a woman. We've been oppressed forever. Oh, not forever, but you know what I'm saying? For a long time. You don't know anything about us. You're going to tell us you know how we are sexually? Whenever patriarchy designed our sexuality around their ego and around their convenience, you decided that because you need to be sure kids went to the right property, went to the right air, you decided that we only needed to have one man at a time. You didn't ask us. You didn't consult with us. You didn't care. So you made that. Then you have a religion come and compound it. Then you push it in place and say we can't have a bank account and vote and do nothing without a man. So then you get to just be, and you get a woman, and you get a family. You never were entitled. You forced that entitlement. It was a fabricated entitlement. Now that women are getting free, you're seeing our true nature. How the fuck can you tell the true nature of any person or group when they've been enslaved? White people were flabbergasted when they figured out we could read, write, own businesses, out-earn them, outperform them, exceed everything that they had going on. So they had to put shit in place to be sure we stayed small. It's the same thing with women and men. You're not more sexual than us. You came from us. We came from our womb, but also biologically, everyone starts off as a female. And then you're unlucky enough to be a man. This whole rib and it's all made up. You don't oppress what you already think is weak. You oppress what you're scared of. So men categorically are afraid of a woman's power and women's sexuality. So they have to make it small. So women like Megan Thee Stallion it's an example. Women don't be like this because this is the hate you're going to get. It's kind of to scare us. It's the same thing as making an example out of black people. Do you not see the parallel? It's the same shit. So once you end up saying this, you can really see men and really see men and women are just as guilty as being a part of this bullshit as they are. But we're talking about men right now. You free yourself from a lot of misogynistic men. I think I got all my points across. I want to know what y'all think about this video. I love y'all. Get my book.